Jai Gurudev. Good? Meditation was good? Okay. So we have to start reading from page 279. Who's going to begin?
Vasistha continued, the infinite consciousness, which is the true self of all, is endowed with omnipotence, but the jiva, which is essentially non-different from the self, is endowed with one faculty, appropriate to its notion. Hence, depending upon the nature of the jiva, it enjoys endless power or limited powers. The infinite consciousness...
Let's wait here. This is very important, this paragraph. We spoke in the past few pages how notion leads to manifestation, correct? There is a deeper meaning hidden in this. It means that I am the creator of my future. Yes, and whatever I am today, this product called Ekta, this body-mind complex, this product is a sum of all notions of the past. Every notion led to a manifestation. Again, that manifested Ekta had another notion, and that became another Ekta. So I am talking about Ekta as, say, 1 day old, and Ekta is 2 days old, and Ekta is 3 days old. Are you getting it? Every day you have multiple notions. Who you were yesterday is not the same person sitting here today. Yeah, and it's not just one notion per day. Multiply it into 100 notions we have. Notions are not just a part of my living 12, 13, 14 hours reality. Notions also happen in the dreaming phase at night. And that notion, the sum of all the notions together, comes together, and the strongest of them manifests. That is how you make plans. You decide, tomorrow I have to go to this place, to this grocery store, and purchase this. Yeah. And really the next day you do go there and you bring all those items. Correct? You think this is planning, but it is actually a notion and a manifestation. The one who is doing this notion manifestation drama is actually dreaming. This entire lifetime is a dream. And this person who is dreaming is somewhere else. And then that person is also dreaming that he is dreaming. That person also has a notion. So there is an Ekta inside Ekta inside Ekta inside Ekta. Just like in this story, it came from the mendicant all the way to Rudra. It's a dream inside a dream inside a dream inside a dream. Yeah? This is in short a summary of the next 3 pages. So now when we go through the next 3 pages, we have to understand that we are a product of our own notions of the past. And we will be the producer of the notions in the future. Yeah? So I am the one only who is creating everything. Only I am responsible. Yeah? There is no God to blame, no niyati to blame, yeah? Or another external person, situation, thing to blame. It is all I. Whether something good has happened to you or something bad has happened to you, doesn't matter. It is all I. Even if that bad has been created by an external influence, another person or a situation or a thing, but I had the notion for this to manifest. Clear? Yeah. Now with this understanding, we'll read this paragraph. The infinite consciousness, which is the true self of all, is endowed with omnipotence. What is omnipotence? All powerful. It has all the powers. The Brahman consciousness has all the powers. The power of creation, the power of maintenance, the power of destruction. Yeah? Any power you can think of, that this Brahman consciousness has. Yes, that is the first line. The true self is endowed with omnipotence. But the Jiva is that individual drop of that same consciousness that came out of the pool of consciousness and said, I. Yeah, so Jiva has ego, which is not present in the Brahman consciousness. Okay, but the Jiva, which is essentially non-different from the self, is endowed with one faculty appropriate to its notion. So what is the meaning of this? The Brahman consciousness has all the powers in the universe. That Jiva that came out of that Brahman consciousness on account of its ego or I has only one power. The power of manifesting its own notions. Got it? Just one power we are left with. Hence, depending on the nature of the Jiva, it enjoys endless powers or limited powers. So, when you start progressing on this spiritual path, you have heard about the enlightened people. It is like that drop which is moving closer and closer and closer to the ocean of consciousness. The closer it comes to the ocean of consciousness, its powers go on increasing. The further away it is from the ocean of consciousness, its powers are limited. Yeah? The one that is the farthest away from this ocean of consciousness has only one power, manifestation of its own notions. Is this clear? Yeah? That is why we say, no, you get siddhis on this path. Yeah? Because you come closer to that Brahman consciousness and you get those powers. And what are those powers? Nothing but simple things, that you can start seeing future, you can start seeing beyond. Your intuition becomes very strong. So you see beyond your little mind and little intellect. You start understanding things which are not perceivable by other people. Yeah, it's not that they are some miraculous powers. They all belong to the Brahman consciousness. And I am the Brahman consciousness. But then I have that ego. And that ego has become my big obstacle, big barrier. That is why I cannot manifest all my powers. Yes, the powers are there, but my ego is the obstacle. Yeah. So as we progress on this path, slowly the ego starts dropping down. And when the ego completely drops, all these powers come. Got it? So siddhis are nothing miraculous. It's just my only power, but I don't have access to it because of my ego. Clear? Now we can read ahead, Shruti.
The infinite consciousness is free from expansion and contraction. It is the jiva that gets what it seeks. The yogi who has acquired various faculties exists and manifests such faculties here and also elsewhere. However, since they are enjoyed here and there and in different places, such experiences appear to be many and varied, even as the famous Kartavirya generated fear in the hearts of many, though he remained at home. A modern example is the radio. Without leaving the studio, the speaker or singer enters countless drawing rooms.
Okay. So what he's saying here is, just like radio waves are present everywhere, yeah, even there in Cincinnati, even here in Chicago, for Rachna in Seattle, wherever you are located right now, it doesn't matter. The same radio waves are in your room and in your room and here in this room, everywhere, yeah. So they are all pervading, yeah, just like light is all pervading coming from the same sun, like that only the yogic powers are all pervading, because they are not obstructed by the physical form, yeah. Like space is not obstructed by the physical form. The same space is outside this window as it is inside the room. And you cannot say that the space is divided. It's not divided. It is all one. Like that only the powers can be manifested anywhere and everywhere. Yeah. Why are they saying this? Why are they talking about powers here? Is because they're going to mention about devas going ahead and how the devas' energy manifests the same everywhere. The gravity works in the same intensity here in Chicago as it works there in Cincinnati. Yeah. So gravity is also a deva. Electricity is also a deva. Yeah. Anything, any energy, any magnetism that you see is all the same deva energy. Everything is working exactly at the same degree, the same frequency. The infinite consciousness is free from expansion and contraction. It is the jiva that gets what it seeks. So, I am a jiva. I say I want and therefore I get that. And I get only that. Yes? And I get it in that degree that I have longed for it. Yeah? Not necessarily what I get is what I really want. Yeah, because universe does not understand my English. Remember, we've discussed this a million times. I may say, I want money, I want money. Universe just sees the attraction between this jiva and money, and then probably instead of making me a rich person that I want to become, makes me a watchman of a bank. Yeah, it's the same logic for the universe or niyati. It is mathematics. It makes complete sense. Yeah, you had attraction for money, you're the watchman standing outside that bank for the rest of your life. So simple. Yeah, niyati does not see it as a desire to possess the money and be rich and sit in the palace. All this niyati didn't get your English. Yeah, so understand what he's trying to say here. Whatever the jiva seeks, it manifests, it gets it. Yeah, and that wanting, that desire in me either creates a happy feeling, which is a feeling of expansion, or unpleasant feeling, a feeling of contraction. Only jiva expands and contracts, expands and contracts. The ocean remains intact. The ocean does not expand and contract. The ocean never loses its maryada. There's really no perfect translation in English. It never steps out of that limit. It stays there. How much ever trash we throw into the ocean, how much ever nonsense we dump into the ocean maintains its limit. It accepts everybody. It does not say no, no, no and contracts when you throw trash, and does not say yes, yes, yes when you throw love at it. Nothing happens to the ocean of consciousness. It maintains its limit or its maryada. Jiva does not. Jiva expands and contracts on account of its desire. Yeah. The yogi who have acquired various faculties. So, Yogi's jiva is that jiva that has dropped the I and started moving closer to that Brahman consciousness. When it moves closer to the Brahman consciousness, it attains almost omnipotence, all the powers. So the yogi who have acquired various faculties exist and manifest such faculties here and also elsewhere. What does it mean? Here means in Bhuloka, in our physical realm of existence, and in the other existences, whether upper lokas or the lower talas. Yeah, for example, they used to say Lord Buddha used to ascend to the higher lokas, to the Swarga Loka, teach them the knowledge during the day, and then he used to come back down to Bhuloka. Yeah, so yogis who have, risen to that higher level, they receive these powers of going beyond the form. We are limited by form. Bhuloka is form. Clear? However, since they are enjoyed here and there and in different places, such experiences appear to be many and varied. Even as the famous Kartavirya generated fear in the hearts of many, though he remained at home. So it may seem just because Buddha went to the higher realms and taught in Swargaloka, there it seems like a different kind of a power, and here it seems like a different kind of a power. But it is all the same. Yeah? There is no difference. For example, it is the same electricity which manifests in that lamp as light and in the fan as movement of air. Behind that, it is only the same one electricity, no? There is no difference. The manifestation makes it seem, oh, light here and air there, or AC there, or heat there. So the manifestations differ. And we are people of the form. So we only appreciate that which my five senses can appreciate. Right? But this yogic power which is behind it, which is that electricity, like in the Buddha, is the same. It just appears varied. Clear? And they gave the story of Kartavirya, who generated fear in the hearts of all. So Kartavirya is a contemporary of Ravana. So there's just one little story of his that I know, that Ravana was a teenage boy and was meditating in the river and doing his official Surya prayers to the Surya, to sun god, early in the morning. And Kartavirya happened to be with his wives in the same river, taking a bath and enjoying and all. And Kartavirya had attained so much power, was so strong, that he stopped the entire flow of the river, just as show off to his wives or something like that. It was a part of a joke or something, and he stopped the entire flow of the river. Yeah? It's just a mythological story. And then Ravana's prayers got disturbed because suddenly the water disappeared around him. And he came out of his ritualistic prayers and got so angry with Kartavirya that he challenged him to a war, or those times they were called wars, but just like a dvandva, two of them. And then they fought and Ravana lost. Kartavirya won. Yeah? And so people in that day and age would say, oh, go to sleep, otherwise Kartavirya will come. Yeah? The way, we scare children, go to sleep, Ravana will come is our example. So in Ravana's days, people used to say, go to sleep, otherwise Kartavirya will come. So his fear used to put all children to sleep. Yeah? Because just his story that he had defeated Ravana was like scary enough for everybody. Yeah? So Kartavirya does not have to really enter your bedroom to instill that fear into you. Just mummy has to say, go to sleep, otherwise Kartavirya will come, and he was there. Instant power. Yeah? Like that, all the yogis who drop the I and reach the highest, they have powers which are instant, which can be manifested everywhere at the same time. That is the grace of a guru. Yeah, you wonder what is the grace, na? It is his blessing that anybody and everybody who walks the spiritual path, may that person be blessed. And the person who has more faith, for him the grace increases. The person who has no faith, there is no grace. Very simple. Just like the child who listens to mummy, he instantly goes to sleep when mummy says Kartavirya will come. It is that child's faith in Kartavirya, and his fear. The child who does not have any faith in Kartavirya will not sleep. Got it? Yeah. So, that is just an example to tell you what these yogic powers are. Yeah. Now we can read ahead.
Similarly, Lord Vishnu, without leaving his abode, incarnates as a human being on earth. Similarly, Indra, who presides over sacred rites, without leaving his heavenly abode, is present in 1,000 places where such rites are performed. In response to the call of the devotees, Lord Vishnu, who is one, becomes thousands and appears before the devotees. Even so, Jivata and the others who were but the creatures of the mendicant's imagination or wish, and who were animated by Rudra consciousness, went to their various abodes and functioned as if independently. They played their different roles for some time and then returned to the abode of Rudra.
Okay. So, here in that story of the mendicant and Rudra, didn't we come across that where he says, oh, enough of self-inquiry and self-contemplation. Now let me go back and wake up all my sleeping manifestations. Yeah, basically in my dream, inside a dream, inside a dream, inside a dream, all the different characters that I am, let me go and wake them up. So the question was, how did they wake up? Yeah. So this is the explanation for that. So just like yogic powers transcend lokas, just like Buddha went from one loka to another loka, just like gravity exists everywhere at the same intensity, just like that, when you reach this highest level of spiritual enlightenment where I drops, then what happens is that you attain this yogic power where you can go in that dream inside a dream inside a dream and wake up all those sleeping ektas. Got it? So this is an explanation for his question. So similarly, Lord Vishnu, without leaving his abode, incarnates as a human being on earth. Similarly, Indra, who presides over sacred rites without leaving his heavenly abode, is present in 1,000 places where such rites are performed. Basically, it is that Deva energy that comes down. Yeah? It's that Devic energy that is even called when we do our pujas, the mantra and the yantra. They are nothing but ways of invoking that Deva to come and just give us some peace. Like we do a Shanti part for the house. So there is peace in the house. Yeah. So then you're just invoking that Deva to come and spread peace. Yeah. And that's how these energies can transcend from other lokas to this loka. In response to the call of the devotees, Lord Vishnu, who is one, becomes thousands and appears before the devotees. Even so, Jivata and the others who were but the creatures of the mendicant's imagination or wish and who were animated by Rudra consciousness went to their various abodes and functioned as if independently. They played their different roles for some time and then returned to the abode of Rudra. Yeah. So this is, I know it's very difficult for you to understand right now, but just understand, as Ekta is somewhere else sleeping, and in that dream there is this other Ekta, and in that second Ekta's dream there is another dream happening, which is the third Ekta. And like this, countless Ektas down, probably there is this Ekta who is teaching Yoga Vasistha. So when this Ekta gets enlightened, what happens is that she can transcend to all the levels of the dreams and wake all of them up. Because here that enlightenment happened, that I, which was a big obstruction, dropped. Yeah? And that omnipotence was almost achieved.
Is it possible that while one, like this Ekta is present, the other, the dreamer of this, is also present in the physical plane?
No, it's imagination. So imagination can transcend even lokas. Yeah, you could be imagining in some other loka as well, and you could have taken a birth in this bhuloka. And in the bhuloka itself there is levels of dreams. So it might be there in bhuloka, it might not be there. There is no mandatory thing that it has to be in bhuloka. Answered your question?
My question is, once all these Ektas or all these Arunas are probably the same person, dreaming in a dream, in a dream, in a dream. Once this, right now, the present Aruna got enlightened, she realized everything is nothing. All those are just imaginations, just notions. So where are all those things? Then how can they all get up?
Oh, that is just a way of saying it. There is no really that process of going to that and waking them up. It is just
Okay.
poetic license, auntie. Poetic license. It's in the sutra. That's why they just translated and kept the purity of the sutra, which I really appreciate. Yeah, otherwise this could have been diluted by just what Swami Venkatesananda thought. But he translated the sutra perfectly. Yeah, that he went into each of them and woke them up. You don't have to. For example, when you wake up from a dream, you don't have to go back into the dream to wake yourself up. It's all over in an instant. That's how it will really happen. Yeah, but you can really transcend from one loka to another loka to help other people. For example, Guruji probably belongs to Mahar Loka because he is a Siddha. He's already enlightened. But he has transcended that plane and come to Bhuloka to help us all. Yes? Again, he can transcend between lokas while being here. For example, if this body called Ekta dies, the soul Ekta moves on to Pitraloka. And that's where the Guru really comes and holds the hand of Ekta and guides towards the light or towards window of liberation. And there are Pitrus also. Remember we have talked about this in Upanishads. Yeah, so the Guru can transcend these planes. People always ask this question, Hare, what if Guruji is still here and I am gone? No, Guru still takes you. So
Paramahansa Yogananda also, in that book also it was written that the master of Paramahansa Yogananda was helping people in the other worlds also.
yes, there is a story in our ashram itself. Somebody just told me this weekend when I didn't know about it, that somebody died in the ashram while being in the ashram. He did not realize that he's dead and he went and he stood in the lunch line. And Gurudev, not in his body, but he transcended, and he went and got the person out of the line and made him sit down and told him, you have passed away. You are no more in the body. Yeah, I just heard this story. I was like, wow. That itself tells you that you can attain that level of yogic powers the moment I and you, that Dvaitam, drops. Yeah. Even so, Jivata and the others who were but the creatures of the mendicant's imagination or wish, and who were animated by Rudra consciousness, went to their various abodes and functioned as if independently. They played their roles for some time and then returned to the abode of Rudra. Yeah, can we move ahead now?
All this was nothing but a momentary delusion which arose in the consciousness of the mendicant, though it was seen as if it were independent of the mendicant. Even so, the birth and death of countless beings takes place in the one infinite consciousness, as it were. They imagine diversity in this world appearance, and then they seek unity in the self. At the time of their death, they imagine within themselves another state of existence which appears to them as if outside. Until realization of liberation, the embodied being undergoes unfathomable sorrow. I told you the story to illustrate this truth. This is the fate not only of the mendicant but of all beings. That being who forgets his inseparability from the Supreme Self imagines his own notions to be independent and utterly real and substantial. From one such dream he goes on to another dream until he abandons the false notion, I am the body.
Yeah. This is happening to all of us, right? Yeah. All this was nothing but a momentary delusion which arose in the consciousness of the mendicant, though it was seen as if it were independent of the mendicant. Yeah, so this dream inside a dream sometimes seems, I have got nothing to do with the dream. I am separate and this dream is separate. Even in the night when you dream, you always see it as different from you. You say, I am dreaming. Means I am the subject and the object is the dream. Are you getting this? You always see I and you. You see separation. But this separation itself is a delusion, he says. Even so, the birth and death of countless beings takes place in the one infinite consciousness, as it were. They imagine diversity in this world appearance and then they seek unity in the self. At the time of their death, they imagine within themselves another state of existence which appears to them as if outside. Until realization of liberation, the embodied being undergoes unfathomable sorrow. Means what? Because I am trapped in this body-mind complex, I am lost in a dream. I have a notion, I want this to maintain this body-mind complex. I need money, I need family, I need house, I need job, I need this, I need that. So I have created so many notions. Yeah? And with each of these notions, I have degrees of attachment. Imagine strings going from your cords. Yeah, a very thick cord going towards family, relationships, another very thick cord to money, a not so very thick cord to name, fame, yeah, or for other people, vice versa. We don't know. So thick and thin determines the intensity of the manifestation of that notion. The more heavier my attachments to people, situations and things outside leads to them manifesting in the next lifetime. So when I die, what do I see? I see all these images of all the thickest cords in my whole life. Relationships, money, family, whatever, friends, name, fame, cars, houses, jewelry, bags, clothes, whatever is your strongest, that flashes at the time of death. And when that flashes at the time of death, the strongest from them you hold on to. You cannot let go of your raga or dvesha. And that manifests as the next lifetime. That is the meaning of the last thought in this lifetime will lead to birth or an appropriate birth in the next lifetime. And then again I am caught in the same raga and dvesha in that next lifetime. The same cycle repeats, and again another birth and again another birth. And like this, the cycle of birth and death continues. So the main culprit is what? My notion, my desire, my want. Yeah? It's either a raga or a dvesha. And this continues until liberation. So until realization of liberation, the embodied being undergoes unfathomable sorrow. Means birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. I told you the story to illustrate this truth. This is the fate not only of the mendicant but of all beings. That being who forgets his inseparability from the Supreme Self imagines his notions to be independent and utterly real and substantial. From one such dream he goes on to another dream until he abandons the false notion, I am the body. So there is your solution. The problem is only that I have identified with this body, and all these thick cords of attachment are for maintenance of this body. Yeah, I feel this body can survive only if there is money, name, fame, relationships, job, career, family, whatever. All because of the attachment to this body. The day you realize, oh, I am not the body, but I have a body. It's just a tool. When that realization comes, yeah, which very easily can come at the time of death if you are not lost in your raga and dvesha. Because that is the moment you actually drop the body. And if the awareness is there that, oh, that body of Ekta is lying there on the floor, but I am intact. Nothing has happened to me, not a scratch. Oh, I am not the body. This realization can happen very easily at the time of death. But our problem is we are so lost in ragas and dveshas, we don't easily let go of the body. We try to get inside the body. We try to go and hug our loved ones. We try to sit and eat at the dinner table. That raga, dvesha of this world doesn't even let you come to that awareness of, oh, I am not the body. And you miss your chance. And again, you have to come back. Yeah. So the only way out is recognizing I am not this body. Yeah. Nashtavakra gave it to us so early in Nashtavakra, chapter number 4. He made you realize, oh, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect. In fact, you are not the doer only. It is all a happening. Here, homework number 1 for you. Have you realized yet that you are not the body? Or are you still stuck? We can read ahead.
Rama asked, "Oh, what a beautiful, wonderful story. Lord, you said that all things that are conceived to be real are real and experienced as real. Pray, tell me Does this mendicant also exist somewhere? Vasistha replied, I shall contemplate this question and reply later. At this stage, the assembly rose from their noon prayers. Vasistha continued, O king, O Rama, with the help of my eye of wisdom, I searched for the mendicant. I entered into deep meditation, wishing to see that mendicant. I searched for him in this universe but could not find him. How does one's imagination appear outside also as if real? Then I proceeded north to the land of the Jina. On top of an anthill there exists a vihara, shrine, or bihar, inhabited by people. There in his own cottage was a mendicant bhikshu known as Dirghadrasa, whose head was yellow in color. He was in deep meditation. Even his attendants did not enter his cottage, afraid to disturb his meditation. It was the 21st day of such meditation. It was destined to be his last day. Though from one point of view he had been in meditation for only 21 days, from another point of view thousands of years had passed. For such was the notion that arose in his mind. I knew that such a mendicant had lived in another epoch, and even in this epoch he is the second such mendicant. However, other than these two, I could not see a third mendicant. With all the wits at my disposal and all the faculties I could command, I entered into the very heart of this creation, looking for the third mendicant. At last I found him, but he was not in this universe. He was in another universe which, however, was almost exactly like this universe, though created by another Brahma. Even so have there been, and there will be in the future, countless beings. In this very assembly there are sages and holy Brahmana who will thus entertain notions of other beings who will thereupon appear to be. Such is the nature of Maya. Some of these beings will be of natures similar to the one that imagines them. Others will be quite dissimilar. Yet others will partly resemble them. Thus is the great Maya which baffles even great men. But it does not exist nor does it function here, for it is only delusion that causes all these to appear and disappear. Else, where is a short period of 21 days and where is a whole epoch? It is frightening even to think of the play of the mind. All this is but appearance, which unfolds like the lotus in the morning and reveals diversity like a full-blown lotus. All this arises in the infinite consciousness, which is pure, yet the appearance appears to be tainted by impurity. Each thing appears as if fragmented, and at the end of that fragmented existence, it undergoes other strange fragmentation. All this is relatively real, not totally unreal. All of them manifest in the all. The cause is in the cause.
Oh. So I won't read the whole story from the beginning. It is nothing but that he's looking for the mendicant and he cannot find the mendicant. Yeah, and then finally he finds this mendicant who has been in meditation for 21 days, but in another realm of existence it's thousands of years, which means what? When you dream in the night, in 10 times you can have the dream of going from birth to death. Yeah? Or you could go through thousands of lifetimes in your 8-hour sleep. Possible, right? Yeah? So that time zone is different only of dreams compared to the time zone of this so-called reality. Yeah? Like that only, because of your notion, you really surpass these time zones and you are manifesting your own stories in your own head. Yeah, it is all a dream inside a dream inside a dream inside a dream. So it's really a good time to again watch the movie Inception, which was actually created on the basis of Yoga Vasistha. After understanding so much about dream inside the dream, you will really be able to look at the movie from another angle, yeah, where they actually, go from one dream to another dream to another dream to solve a little problem. That problem is not so important. I mean, that's all the thrill part of the story, which is fun to watch, keeps you engaged. But you can really understand, oh, really, the time in this level of dream varies from the time in this level of dream, varies from time in this level of dream. And this they have shown very beautifully in that movie. Yeah, so just like in your dream, in an instant, from a little baby you become an old woman. Yeah, so only in that little instant something needs to be done, completed. If I want to break your dream, I need to come in between that baby born and you becoming an old woman and dying. I have to come and break the dream in the middle. So very beautifully they have done the time zone thingy. And you will understand that better now that you have read so much about dream within a dream. Yeah. So watch that. Take that as your homework number 2. The name of the movie is Inception. So when you dream in the night, the people in your dream, they're not exactly the same. Have you noticed? Yeah. They have a similar nature. So we'll go directly to paragraph number 5. And there's not much. It's all story in the first 4 paragraphs. So we are looking at what is the nature of Maya. Some of these beings will be of nature similar to the one that imagines them. Others will be quite dissimilar. Yet others will partly resemble them. This is the great Maya which baffles even great men. But it does not exist, nor does it function here, for it is only delusion that causes all these to appear and disappear. Yeah? It's only a delusion that in your dream you did this, you went here and suddenly became old also and died also, and again you were born, or something weird in your dream. It is all illusionary. And Ekta dreams of Ekta only in the dream. But that Ekta is slightly different and slightly similar. Yeah? So in your dream also, notice that you really see what you want yourself to be. So if you've not observed this thing, observe it. Do your best to remember your dream, and your dream will always be better than your current reality. In your head, better. Yeah? That which I don't have now and that which I want to have in future is what I dream of. Yeah? So in other words, it is a notion, it is a desire for something. And that notion itself can lead to manifestation of the next lifetime, depending on how strong this notion is. Yeah, so homework number 3 for you. Do your best to see if you can remember even a single dream in the morning now. Yeah? And in that dream, figure out what was your notion. Maybe a notion to be rich, a notion to be famous, a notion to be prettier, a notion to be something. There is one notion that you will see manifest in that dream. Yeah? Can you point out that notion in your dream? Okay? That's your homework. Else, where is a short period of 21 days and where is a whole epoch? It is frightening even to think of the play of the mind. So 21 days here came from that mendicant who was meditating. Yeah. So he was meditating only for 21 days, but in another realm of existence it was thousands of years, and he had gone through many lifetimes. All this is but appearance, which unfolds like the lotus in the morning and reveals diversity like a full-blown lotus. All this arises in the infinite consciousness which is pure, yet the appearance appears to be tainted by impurity. Each thing appears as if fragmented and at the end of that fragmented existence, it undergoes other strange fragmentation. All this is relatively real, not totally unreal. This is the most important part. I think this computer is real. These people are real in front of me. Yes? But when I realize that this is a dream, then this real becomes unreal. So it is relatively real. Yeah? Another example, suppose you're sleeping and dreaming in the night. Yeah? Sometimes you're so aware, even in your dream, you know, oh, I am dreaming. This is unreal. Correct? Yeah? So it was only relatively real till I came to that realization, oh, I'm dreaming. So before that realization, I am dreaming, everything was real, true. I was sweating, or I was experiencing that emotion. I was totally experiencing it as if it was real. Then suddenly at this point, I come to that realization, oh, I'm dreaming. And maybe the dream continues for a little bit, but I have this recognition it is unreal. So it is just relatively real till the time you don't come to that realization. Yeah? This is the beauty of Maya. Maya fools you and makes you feel everything is real. Yeah? When it is only relatively real. It's not truly real even for you. One day when you wake up and you look back and you say, oh, yeah, it's all unreal. It's all a figment of this mind's imagination. All of them manifest in the all. The cause is in the cause. So beautiful. Notion is the cause. Manifestation of the notion is in the cause. The cause is in the cause. Everything really is just a dream. The cause of the dream is also the dream itself. Yeah? It's that notion. So notion and manifestation both are dream. It is the dream inside a dream. The cause is in the cause. Got it? Yeah, this is really beautiful and very, very heavy knowledge. You recognize what are your biggest notions. If you didn't do your homework last week, again revisit, even if you did it last week. What are your biggest notions that have led to manifestations in this lifetime? Whether it is manifestation of spouse, child, friend, money, no money, fame, no fame, yeah, whatever it is that has manifested in life. Check, check, check. What are your strongest notions? Identify them. Notion can be a fear also. Notion can be love also. Yeah? Notion can be a thirst for something. Yeah? Observe yourself very keenly. Okay? The next page is also a little bit of story and little bit of knowledge, but it's a little more heavier, so we'll leave it for next week. Yeah. Any questions?
Does a jiva always have a notion, or there is a jiva without a notion too?
So a jiva is a jiva because of notion. If the jiva reaches that stage where notions drop off, that jiva becomes enlightened, is ready to merge with the Brahman consciousness. So even a jiva like this marker, you may feel, how can a marker have a notion. Even a non-living item has had that notion of I am different from the Brahman consciousness. Yeah? All this is notion. For example, he also told you that in the story, remember, that the creeper had a notion of being poked. And then the next janma was of a bee. And really a bee comes and pokes. Yeah? So everything, whether you see it as living or non-living, everything is capable of the notion. And from where does that come? Because the Brahman consciousness is all intelligence. It does not need mind or words or intellect to have a notion. Yeah? Notion is just like a desire, just like the first I that came up in you when you came out from that pool of consciousness. That time you were not in a body. That time you didn't have a mind. Yeah? But that notion still came up. And that notion of I led to the formation of mind. Clear?
Yes.
So what is the way back into the pool of consciousness? Just dropping notions, dropping, letting go, letting go, letting go. Slowly, slowly, slowly we will reach that level where manifestation will stop happening because of our current notions. Basically, we'll stop creating agami karma. We will just have to go through the past notions which are taking their time to manifest. But we will stop creating any more new notions which can be manifested in the future. So by the time I complete all these manifestations, I will reach that last point, probably my last birth. And then there is no more coming back because there is no more desire. Yeah. Any other question? No? Contemplate on this. It's a very important homework to keep looking at what notions of mine keep getting manifested and how long am I going to continue this drama? How long? Yeah, I can still continue, it's in my hands, but how much more? Same thing, same thing, same thing, again coming back into body, again childhood, again adulthood, again same, having kids, then becoming old and becoming a grandparent and a great grandparent, again kicking the bucket, again coming back, again the same things, same things. Every lifetime is very similar to the next. Again the next is similar to the previous one. Little bit difference. This lifetime you got little more money, this lifetime you had little less love, next lifetime you had a little more jewelry, next lifetime you had nothing on the streets. Doesn't matter. It's the same drama. How long am I going to continue this drama? Am I not really fed up yet? Look within. This is for your self-contemplation. How many more notions am I going to keep creating? Yeah. Do this homework. Be with yourself. Be with all the notions and manifestations that happen this week. Yeah. And I will see you next week. Okay. Jai Gurudev.